All right, well, hey everybody, welcome to our final brainstorm for the month of May. During this month, we've been looking at all the things regarding fostering creativity and community within our new normal of doing everything online. And so we are going to be finishing up this month by having a class that looks at different ways that we can bring performance online and different technologies that we can use to either present our work or to edit it, pre-edit it, and then share it back out. So I'm very excited. And we have an absolutely fantastic guest today, Miss Melanie Lyons. She is one of ReTheater's mentors. She actually lives right down the street from me, which is wild since we live in a relatively small-ish town in the state of Washington. And there are multiple theater people in this town, so it's great. But before I throw it over to her, just as a quick reminder, as we go through, feel free to put any questions that you have over in the chat. Melanie will talk between like 10 and 20 minutes here at the beginning, and then it's a brainstorm. So we would love to hear your guys' thoughts, to hear what's going on for you guys, and just brainstorm and troubleshoot some different ideas. And so without doing too much more of an intro, Melanie, would you mind introducing yourself and giving us a little bit about who you are?
Yes. So, Melanie, I'm an artistic director and a drama teacher. And so when all of this hit, I personally was in the middle of directing 3 productions, 1 for junior high and 2 for high school. And that's with a homeschool co-op. So we'd been working on those shows for already 9 months. It's kind of crazy. And then I also am the artistic director of a small nonprofit theater that does theater, drama clubs, and musical productions in 12 schools. And so we, as an organization, we're also in process of 4 other productions that were in the works and at various levels of about to be on stage. And so I definitely come to you both as that like leadership hat of having to figure out how to pivot my organization and mentor other teachers through all of this, but also as like an active director trying to figure out how to salvage what we're in the middle of and then also plan towards the future. So yeah, that's kind of the hats that I've had on. We thankfully, the co-op I was directing with was amazing and was able to really plan quickly and ahead. I've definitely found that like my dealings being outside of school districts has allowed me a lot more flexibility and ability to pivot quicker. I love partnering with PTA organizations and with parent boards because, man, they get the job done. Let me just say it. And so I do recognize that I come from that background where I'm a little less beholden in some ways to kind of school board decisions or principal decisions. So that's been helpful, but then also definitely in the realm of all of our work that's been in schools, not having a say on things as well. So I just want to say, feel for you in that there's a lot of frustration there of not being able to just pick a plan and go with it, but having to get approvals and work within the structures that we're given. But all that to say, in the last however many weeks, I have been stretching my brain so much, and I just want to also acknowledge some days I have what I call Corona mud brain, and like things are way harder than they should be. And then some days I feel like I have days where I have clarity and I'm able to learn and tackle new skills. And so I just wanted to first read the list of all of the different things that I have learned new, all the different programs. So since this started, I started using Flipgrid for the first time. I have become a semi-expert at iMovie video editing, which I've been so resistant to for so long. I was already using Zoom, but now I have learned a lot on how to teach through Zoom, play drama games through Zoom, record Zoom scenes direct via Zoom. So that has definitely been a whole new avenue. I've also dug deep into an app called Smule, which is designed to be a kind of collaborative karaoke app. But I have done a bunch of learning on how to use it for productions, and then also played around with like other apps like Marco Polo, just for like connection, and things like House Party as an alternative to like hanging out, because some people only can get on to these kind of social apps through their phone. And on Zoom, if you have more than 4 people, you can't really see them all at the same time. So House Party's been sometimes what I've used when I want to get together on using my phone, or other people are using their phone, and so we can all see each other, whereas Zoom has a limit on phone how many people you can see at a time. So that's my short list. I'm sure there's some other things I've played around with. But I just want to acknowledge that this has been hard work, and that we've had to really reinvent the wheel. Today, I was actually just mourning a little bit that Dannyland Drama, the company that I'm artistic director of, we have just celebrated 10 years in our 11th season. And I'm trying to push through like the disappointment that this year was supposed to be a building on the foundation of what had come before. And it feels like now we're like reworking everything. So something that's helped me is just having like being able to hold those two different, like I'm really excited about this and I'm really sad about this, and trying to like give myself permission to hold both of those at the same time. And I think for me, the other thing is with these productions I was doing for this homeschool co-op, I'm the brand new teacher there. And so I'm also carrying that like, I'm going to get through my first year teaching with them, and they still don't know what I can put on stage. But man, have I busted my buns to give them like the best quarantine showcase shows possible. And so just owning that, like, I didn't give up on them, and that's what they really needed in the end. So yeah, happy to field questions or talk more about how I've used those various platforms to create theater, but I would definitely love to hear from you and what you're hoping to learn, where you're feeling stuck, what programs you would love to find more potential for, because yeah, we want to cut to the chase and make sure that you guys are getting what you want to hear and get better at. So
yeah, I think that's a really great place to kind of segue into things, Melanie. And I love that you're like really targeting what everybody in the room is needing. So if anybody wants to unmute or throw over in the chat, actually, if everybody would in some form, what you guys are working on right now, and like what is working or what is not, and like let's all work together to try to find those solutions. So I bet between the many people that are in this call, we all are using different things, which will be super fantastic. So yeah, does anybody want to share and unmute yourself and be brave, or throw it over in the chat and I will read it?
I'll just unmute.
Hey, Shannon.
I saw your head nodding.
I've also used the Flipgrid. It was not as beneficial as I thought it would be. The kids were not using it as much, but the video quality is better. So it's been like kind of hit and miss with Flipgrid. I don't have iMovie, but I've been doing a lot of Windows Movie Maker, doing all that, and I just discovered how to record and do breakout rooms on Zoom, which has been a game changer this week. So just kind of doing that. I'm doing different like online classes where they're creating like improv scenes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to record and put them together. Not really working on any productions. We didn't want to go in that direction. Wait. On here, see what everyone else is doing, I guess.
Yeah. And so are you a teacher in a school district?
It's actually more of an after school program. I go to some schools, they come to me. We do mostly musical theater productions, which is kind of where I'm like now, just trying to have classes available so
Right.
I'm not doing musical theater.
Awesome. So yeah, you're making that pivot from productions to like skill-based classes or yeah, for sure.
And I actually taught an an audition prep class for the month of May. And I've had a lot of feedback of people being like, this was the best class I've ever taken. I'm like, that is so great.
Yeah.
So just like learning skills that they don't normally get to learn during the school year because we're so focused on our productions.
I love that. I love that. I know, let's maybe pop off of that and talk a little bit about virtual auditions. I definitely have looked into using Flipgrid. Also loving using either Dropbox or Google Forms where you can send them a link and then they can click on it and then just download it. Because I know that was one of my biggest challenges was asking for lots of videos in this season and getting emails where the link was broken or, you know, it's got stuck in their inbox. And so I definitely feel like Flipgrid was great for me in terms of, so I did a quarantine showcase of Radium Girls where students either submitted a brand new monologue that they wrote inspired by the show or they recorded like an excerpt monologue. And what I loved about Flipgrid is that I could create a grid for each one of them and having their cast photo and then like their bio and then a place to click on their monologue. And what we ended up doing is using that almost as like a virtual program so that families could go through and click on the picture and read their bios. But then I shared with a video editor that I was working with on that project. I was like, this is the order I want everything in. And so that way he could visually see the order of the monologues and like use the headshot as the title and like kind of visually understand the flow, having not been familiar with the play and things like that. So I found that was a really helpful tool for organization as well as like collecting videos or at least just like putting them all in the same place. One thing that I want to learn more about, maybe some of you know, is creating like a Google, maybe Lindsay, you even know, like creating a Google, form that like they can just fill in the information and then submit their photo. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really great, I love the Flipgrid for auditions. That's so awesome. And Shannon and Laura both say over in the chat that they've been using Google Drive to upload or for sending videos and collecting those, which I mean, I use that all the time, which is great, except for like when you lose all of your drive space and then it's a whole exciting thing. I let everything go to the last minute. So it's always a fun thing. As far as like Google Forms go, they're really easy. You just need a plugin, I think, to use Google Forms in the way of, oh no, that's to export PDF. So you don't need it necessarily for this, but you can actually, Google Forms like lets you put in a file upload section that you can either, it can be anything. So video fits in there as well as JPEGs, additional Word documents. I've used Google Form for auditions before to collect information, even before all of this, because I hate having paper around me because I will lose something for sure. So that's a really awesome way then to continue to like look at how we can translate everything into those spaces. Is anybody looking at having to do digital auditions right now? Not right now. All kind of hoping and holding out that we don't have to do in fall.
Yeah, check in again right before the fall and we'll see.
Yeah. No, we've been working on what our August programming is going to look like, and I'm like, I just don't even know what the world looks like, so we're going to pause on that one. Here's what
made the decision for August because I similarly I think I'm gonna go ahead and do like virtual monologue and singing auditions and then just hold out hope we can do callbacks in person. But I know I'm also, it's just hard. I just am so tired of changing my mind or changing the plan. So I know it's hard, like both holding out hope and wanting to plan for the future.
Right.
for us, it looks like we're actually going to get to open up at the end of July. So fingers crossed that goes well. Arkansas is like, we've successfully gotten through phase 1 and they're like ready to get to phase 2. So
I just want to clap for Arkansas. All right.
Yay.
Yeah, we just entered phase 2 actually here in Thurston County in Washington today, which
Very
is
exciting.
unfortunately for you guys up in Seattle, phase 2 is very far away. But we're headed in the right direction. But I think schools and theaters are going to be one of the last to open up. But yeah, so that's exciting. Our summer program that we work for they've decided to completely just not do it this summer, which is a bummer. But we are going to do a social media presence throughout the summer, where all the staff, we make videos and we put out posts and things like that for kids to still be active. And so a lot of this stuff is really neat that we can use, right? So our staff, I'll bring this back to our staff and let them know about some of this stuff. I've really enjoyed using Flipgrid just as a brainstorming tool with some of my students the last couple of months. But my seniors, so this is my big question that I wanted to talk to someone, talk to whoever was able to help. We are doing a cabaret style performance. Everything's going to be pre-recorded when it comes to performances, but we're going to do a Zoom meeting, and then I will talk to each student, and then I will share the videos through my Zoom, but I want it to be live streamed. And so I've been, like, the last couple of days just been like downloading so many different encoders, all these things to try to figure out how to live stream from.
Have people in the Zoom as audience members and then also live stream it.
Exactly. And so the only people in the Zoom will be my seniors and myself.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then the people to be able to watch will be watching from a YouTube live stream. So I think I've gotten to a point where I figured out for the most part, but I was wondering if there was other ideas of getting there. Like I said, I've downloaded the encoder. I've got like 3 different systems working at once just to stream this, and I was like, I think I might be doing something wrong.
Yeah, well, I can speak to, I would just throw out as your backup plan, I just did a really successful drama awards ceremony where we actually had all the audience members in Zoom with us. And one thing that even if you have a free account is the amount of attendees is pretty big. So I don't know if you're trying to reach thousands or 100 or, but what we found was really great is that with having some audience members in Zoom, as long as they keep their camera off, they're going to go to the back of the line and you're only going to see whoever has their screen on. So if that's a deterrent from you wanting to have audience members in Zoom, you can manage that by just saying, you know, everyone's screen is off and then your performers are going to be to the front and be seen. But what we loved is we were able to then actually hear some applause, which I was just sharing with Lindsay, like the hardest part for me is theater is high risk, high reward. And like not hearing that applause and the noise and the smiles of the audience is so hard. And so how we did the awards, it worked really well is we did some things where we were able to say, all right, everybody show yourself and, you know, like hit unmute all and give some applause. And so it was really great because then you did have this experience of like, it's focused on the actors and now we're seeing the audience. It's focused on the actors and now we're seeing the audience. And it was actually really magical. And with it being an award ceremony too, we were able to like announce an award and then like spotlight the student that won the award and have them show up big.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
So that worked really well. And that was for an awards ceremony. And then we also did like a small drama club performance where we mixed the live with the pre-recorded. And that worked really well too, where we were able to be like, you know, welcome audience. And then kind of spotlight different characters. We had some young actors playing like charade kind of games. And then the audience could guess and participate in the chat.
Oh, fun.
Which was really fun. Or, you know, if you've done the reactions too, like even if they're thing is off, they could throw up their applause reactions. And so it was the closest that I've come so far to like kind of that live theater feel, where the audience was getting to both participate and like appreciate the actors. And so, yeah, so there was a live component of acting. And like you said, maybe answering questions like what was, your favorite part of this process, or, perform a monologue. And then there was also a pre-recorded mixed video that then we could all view together in that Zoom. So yeah, and I feel like Lindsay could probably speak to like taking Zoom live stream.
Yeah, so I actually, Harrison and everybody, I threw over in the chat, BookTix just launched a streaming service, so that you can stream your stuff. And it literally, in the tagline, Harrison is like, stop use, so you don't have to like trigger how to coordinate everything from Zoom to YouTube. Like you
Oh
can.
my gosh, awesome. Okay.
So they just launched it. I know, MTI also, I believe, has one with Showtix, maybe. I think it must be Showtix because that's who MTI always uses. But I would check out the BookTix one. It's a similar setup. And actually next week, BookTix and TRW are hosting a brainstorming session about understanding like the legalities behind doing streaming work, and then also like how to use these other new streaming platforms.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like you're on the right path, Harrison. Like it's really weird. The only other thing I could think of is you can I don't even know if it would really work, but if you wanted more like audience interaction, like where like you could get more like information or like reactions from the audience like quickly, there's an application called Be Live, which I used to use all the time when I would do Facebook Live streams. It allows you to have multiple people set up in a like an interview type of situation. You can bring people in and out. You can share your screen. And it's also a possibility you could, in that way, if you had like a Facebook group everybody came into, or if it was streamed live to like your school's Facebook page, that's another option, because Facebook Live, they took away all the abilities to do, to have people on it with you. And this screen sharing is like all wonky now too. So might be worth checking out, but yeah.
I just wanted to mention another really cool experience that I just had. One of the teaching artists with my company was part of, I think it's Matcha, but they did a production where it was through Zoom, but they Facebook streamed live. But what was really cool is that you could watch it live, comment on Facebook, and then they actually had like, they must have had 2 or 3 tech people behind the scenes, like paying attention. But it was really fun because there was a part where they were telling this like epic story, and this prince needed cheering up. And they said, did you see this, Lindsay?
No, but I've done this. Continue. Yeah.
It was really cute because I was watching it with my son, and then they said, hey, if you have something that you could do to cheer up the prince, say what you'd be willing to do in the chat. And so I was watching it live and got sucked in. And then when I said, oh, I would yodel for the prince, they then sent me the Zoom link. I was able to like click the Zoom link. They let me into the performance for like 30 seconds. I yodeled and then like hooted out.
Oh my gosh.
So it was really brilliantly done. And I could reach out if that's something, but I just loved it because then I was just a passerby who wasn't specifically invited, but came upon the production live, but then had an opportunity to then like join in via Zoom and be part of the audience. So it was kind of that hybrid experience. So it was really fun. I loved it.
For the future, I would love to get more information about that. For this particular thing, we're not going to have a lot of audience participation anyway, because it's just kind of, we're showcasing our seniors. This is our last chance to perform together. And so it's kind of just going to be a, just our group on the Zoom. But I really like the idea of doing like some kind of cabaret where we involve the audience like that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Laura or Sarah, are you guys working on anything specific on that's on your end, or performance work or anything like that?
Right now, I don't have any full performances. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Right now, we don't have any full performances going on. We are looking forward probably to doing more of a independent monologue and scene sort of production in the fall, where it's original works written by students. We have some students who write and perform, some who just write, some who just perform. So generally, it looks like I'll probably be matching them up like that, and then putting it together so that it's a series like that. So not even really doing auditions so much as like, you know, knowing people, and new people will be in my drama class, and that way I'll get to know them, and sort of figuring it out that way, since it's not really clear when we'll be back on campus.
And so will you have a plan to do it all kind of virtually, and then if surprised we're in person, have them perform on stage, or how are you kind of?
Yes, we generally once a year have original student pieces performed anyway. So we're just sort of moving that to the front of the line. And then, you know, if we can be in a place, we'll be in a place. If not, like I said, I've been using Google Drive for the submission of a lot of videos, which is nice because then people can watch them asynchronously as well. So we do like to do some stuff where we all get together and do some pieces, but then, you know, some students prefer to actually do it as a video, so they can do it as many times as they want until it's beautiful and perfect in their mind. And then we can save those, which is nice too, because then we can use them on the school website, or like feature little bits on Facebook and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. That's, I think the other thing that's been so surprising to me is I've had some students who have embraced the video aspect because of that.
Right.
I have some students who are completely freaked out about it.
Right.
And I think as I've dug in, I think it's like the Instagram perfectness, like like the high school age group right now, if they're going to put something out, they want it to be like airbrushed and like,
right.
So I had a few students really get caught in that anxiety of like, So I wish I could show you my Radium Girls quarantine thing. It's pretty hilarious. You have some kids who like, they look perfect. They costumed themselves. And then I have this one like 14-year-old boy who's sitting on a chair in like a bathroom and looks like he videoed himself on the toilet, but it's not, but it's like so perfect because you like, but then his monologue acting is great, but you still have this flash of like, is he on the toilet?
Where is he? Yes.
I know. Oh my gosh. No.
We just used a broadcasting type service. I'm learning all new technology very quickly, called StreamYard. And I think you have to pay for it. We had a producer friend of mine who let me use his account. But it's pretty cool because it's made specifically for like online performances or podcasts and stuff. So we were able to do an online performance, you know, bringing people in and out from backstage, and, you know, it's designed for that. So that's really, really cool. And also like to get that feel of an audience, people can comment just like on Facebook, and it was on Facebook, it's streamed on Facebook and YouTube, and people can comment, the comments come in, and then I can push them so that they can come onto the screen. So at the end, when we did our virtual bows, like the students got to see comments, like I pushed them to be on the screen, and then, and then other people could see some of the comments if they weren't reading. So that was kind of neat. And now, so with that same group, we're working on radio plays, and we're going to use that same system, because you can also just download audio because it's like meant to work with podcasts as well. So yeah.
That's awesome. That StreamYard sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
And so you said that there's probably a fee associated with, you think?
So there definitely is a fee, but but there may be like a free version like Zoom. Like there may be, he was saying, because I'm using it through a friend of mine who produces podcasts and shows for people. And so he has an account and he just kind of donated it to our organization. So that account, the one that we're using, is the paid for account. I believe it's the same kind of pricing as Zoom, but I think there may be a free version like Zoom that is limited. So I just don't know about it, but yeah, it's definitely worth looking into because it's a really, really great, and the audio is really good, even if you don't have microphones and all that stuff. And it's definitely made for this kind of work specifically, which is kind of cool because, you know, these other platforms weren't really made for this. So it's kind of neat.
Is it easy to use? Like, is it easy to figure out, Sarah?
Yes, because I am the worst technology person. This whole thing has been my greatest nightmare, is having to do everything online. So yes, I mean, he had to really convince me too, because I was like, I'm just going to do it on Zoom because I'm scared. And then so he like sat with me and walked me through it, but there was nothing to walk through. It is very user friendly.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Are you, is anybody planning, and sorry, Laura, my internet cut out, so you may have already said this. I think I caught what you said though. Is anybody planning to do any kind of online streaming components for any summer programs that anyone's doing? No. Melanie, you are?
No, nothing streaming.
Nothing streaming. Melanie, are you doing any streaming?
We're hoping to stream some master classes. So we're working on that, similar to Harrison, like trying to, you know, still offer some free content. And so we're looking at streaming some pre-recorded kind of master classes, but streaming them live, and then maybe having the person who taught them still be available to answer questions in the chat.
Yeah.
So that we can, yeah. And then, yeah, I think we've had such success with just inviting people to Zoom performances. And also just the protection of our students, we haven't done any live streaming, just because that way we can have kind of the password protection and like know exactly who's watching. So we've gone that direction so far. And just, you don't know what will happen live with young people. So I think that's where our comfort level has been. But
to speak to that, I have my seniors actually, some of them that are 18 hated it, but they have to sign give me a virtual signature that they will not invite anybody else, that they will be appropriate, and that they are okay with being on live stream. Like, I have them fill that out just because I have to cover my own butt at the school. So, but yeah, that's a good point, because once you go live, it's open to anybody all over the world, really. So.
And it's open to more policing of like content, you know, like copyrighted content.
Right. And YouTube's doing that new thing now, like for the last few months, like is appropriate for kids, and like you have to check it off in order to use the YouTube stream, which is kind of cool. So I think that covers that content aspect.
Yeah. And I think because also the amount of people that we expect to show up has been in the 100 people or less range, that's totally doable on Zoom. I mean, certainly if we were a national company that had thousands, then we probably would be going more the live stream way, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to, I think I have to do some like live stream performances this summer, and I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm very excited to hear about this StreamYard, Sarah, to see how that works, and to check out the new Book Takes streaming as well. Hi, Grace, you're joining us. And we were just talking about any online projects that we're currently working on as far as performances or using technology as a way to help facilitate performance and student learning. Are you working on anything like that?
Cool. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? I'm
Yeah.
using headphones. Yay. And actually, my name's Rachel. My daughter is Grace. It's just that she logs onto my computer and changes my Zoom name all the time.
Sorry.
It's totally fine. Yeah, so I teach at a K through 12 independent school, and we do a spring play. I teach in the high school, so we we did a play, or we're currently doing a play from the playathome.org website. I don't know if you know about this, but it's pretty cool. If you just type in playathome.org, I'll put it in the chat. It is short plays that 5 theaters kind of started to commission playwrights when the coronavirus thing went down, and all the playwrights like lost all their business and contracts, and they commissioned playwrights to write plays at home that you could read, on your couch or whatever. And so they're like Zoom friendly because they're kind of with a comical nod to everything being virtual. But none of them are really published with like a licensing company yet. So you can just reach out to the playwrights directly to get access to the plays or to get some royalties to do them. So we're doing one of those, which is cool, and it's about 10 minutes. And we messed around with the idea of trying to do it live stream on Zoom or some sort of platform like that. And then we had just had enough hiccups with our own classes doing that, or like people freezing or people in rehearsal just like going away. So we decided to pre-record everything, and we had a student for their senior project who is interested in film editing, who's currently trying to like edit together all of the content that our actors did, and then hopefully in the next couple days it'll be ready and I can see it. So yeah, so it's cool, but also for me kind of terrifying because I feel like I have none of my normal like directorial hands-on or ownership or even like influence, because everything that the kids are doing gets pre-recorded, and then everything my student editor is doing, of course I'll give her notes after the fact, but it just feels like way more out of my hands than a normal production does.
Have you done any recorded rehearsed scenes in Zoom where
We've done some where we'll have like 2 or 3 actors on screen at the same time, and we can record that. And we've tried to record a couple of those that'll get like interspersed, into the final product. But we haven't gone down the path yet of like, I know some companies or groups or schools are doing like musicals that way, where they're pre-recording the songs and putting that together, because you can't really sing live on Zoom, but they're doing like the live scenes. So we'll see for our fall production what happens there.
Rachel, where are you located?
In Baltimore, Maryland, or just outside of Baltimore.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, East Coast kind of seems going to be trapped for a long time.
I know. I know. I feel like we're close enough to DC, and I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'd love to pop in on, so I was directing a musical, and thankfully it was a musical that I actually wrote with a composing partner. So it's crazy because at first, there was some murmuring about like, oh, should we really be doing like an original work? Are the kids going to be as excited about that? And now I just feel so vindicated because I've been able to like approve doing a quarantine online version of it. And anyway, I'm feeling like it was the right choice because I didn't have to deal with all the jumping through the hoops of rights. But I guess I just wanted to pop in and chat about the process on that, because what we ended up basically doing is just trying to use all the things. So this quarantine edition video has some scenes that we pre-recorded on Zoom, and was awesome because I was actually able to direct them and then like do multiple takes. And that way we could, stop and start if there was a technical glitch, and or like, edit the best of it together. And that was literally the closest I felt like like I actually got to do some directing. And then for the vocals, we were able to use Smule, because I think the other thing that you mentioned, like there was no way I could create a rehearsal schedule or even a recording schedule or anything in this, right? Like people's schedules. It was just frustrating because it was like, I'm so bored, but yet I'm not available. It's like, okay.
Right.
So it was nice with Smule to do the music because I could actually upload the accompaniment, upload the lyrics, and tag the lyrics in time. So SMULE, it's an app. So that then I could even say to the students, like, you don't even have to have this memorized. Like, you can basically put your headphones in, hear it in your ear. It mixes yourself in there too with some like reverb, so it makes you sound good. So you can hear the accompaniment and yourself. And you basically have a teleprompter of the words in time. And so that worked really great. The only hard part was that if someone, like I did have I did set up like some practice versions and then like the real version. And I did have like one student who was like just messing around and was like spamming the mic and then accidentally pressed like keep it. And so then that got layered over previous kids' work. So there are some pluses and minuses. But anyway, in this thing, we ended up using like these Smule videos. And what I loved about Smule is that it edits it all together. It lines up all the singing, it lines up all the music, it lines up the video. So I was able to get a lot more done more efficiently without having to do like a virtual choir setup that, you know, takes 2 hours to edit per kid kind of thing. And so, yeah, so if you've done Smule, how it works is that I signed up for a VIP account, which is about $40 for a whole year. They have to sign up for a free account and they can't just go on and use it. They have to be invited. And so then I would, what I would do is I would, if I wanted it to be a video recording, I would video some kind of image that related to the scene. And so this musical is set in a prep school. So if it was a scene or a song that was happening in the prep school, I would video an image of like the Emerald City Prep shield. Or if it was, there's a song where it's called Now It's Time to Rock, and they're telling their teacher, like, it's kind of a spoof on School of Rock, but it's the opposite. The kids force the teacher to rock with them instead of the other way around. And so then the image was like a whiteboard with, you know, summer school sucks crossed out and rocks written in. So I just tried to like record an image that made sense. But then you can also just turn the camera off and just do vocals. And so then the other thing, because we had, which won't affect you guys looking at next year, but we were able to like, well, it might actually, if we're not allowed to sing in person, but we can dance in person, is we actually took rehearsal video of the dancing and then had them then record on Smule the vocals, and then we superimposed those over each other. So that was my one class. I recorded everything and I'm so grateful. My other class, I videoed nothing. And so we had to start from scratch, but next year I'm videoing every rehearsal. Anyone else feel like that? I'm photographing and videoing everything from now on.
Well, I think that'll be like a really cool thing that can come out of this, though, is we'll be so much more aware of that, so that we can have this archival things in case something happens in the future.
I've definitely found it helpful even in class. Like I just record all of my class and most of it just goes into a Google Drive where it will sit for the rest of time. But sometimes we do something in class that ends up being brilliant. And then I'm like, oh, I can go in and cut out that 2 minutes.
Yeah. Like, wait, so you've always recorded them or just in this new stuff?
No, just in the last couple of months.
Oh, yeah.
Because we do it through Google Meets. And so I can just start the recording on my own and it goes to my drive. I'm the only one that can access it unless I pull it out. And then there was just a situation where we had like a really, really great in-class performance once. And so like I pulled that video, I trimmed out the 2 minutes to share with the administration and stuff. And, you know,
That's
nice.
awesome. Oh, sorry.
So cool.
Sorry, my internet keeps going out. That's really great, Laura. I think that that's a really good. I record everything also just because I never know what's gonna, if we need to like resend stuff. I think that's really smart. Great. Okay, so as far as does anybody, I loved what Grace had shared about what was it, the from Play at Home, is that the name of it? I'm having trouble finding it over in the chat. Does anybody else have any good online resources that you're finding material to be working on with your students? Or have had any success stories of adapting work that's not made for the internet, but having it be performed digitally? No one. Oh,
I
here's it.
think Shannon brought this up earlier. Something I have found really, really quite awesome is the breakout rooms. And so during classes or during drama club meetings,
Breakout rooms on Zoom.
yeah, breakout rooms on Zoom. I mean, you can do anything, like any of those games, improv games and stuff like that, and any kind of, if you wanted to perform something, you can send people to a breakout room to practice on their own, then come back and perform it without everyone watching. So it's just really neat, but yet still be there together. But I've been doing quite a bit of PD throughout all this, and trying to find things like teaching tech theater is one of those really hard things I've been trying to figure out how to do virtually. And I actually, right before this, I was on a Zoom, the lounge, the Fifth Ave Teachers Lounge, and they were talking a little bit about how to teach tech, and it's just all design based, and so that was kind of cool. Like working really heavily on the design, and then how about we start designing things for next year already, because that's what we have time to do. So that was fun. That was pretty cool. I think that was kind of what you were asking. Maybe not.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just really great to share those resources. Harrison, is the lounge open to any teachers, or do you have to be in Washington State, or?
I think she's opened it up to everyone. I'm sure it's just a Zoom. I mean, you should be able to get to it. I can ask if she can. If she responds to me about it, I can send you a link if you wanted to.
Who's running it?
Orlando Morales is running it, but Connie is, and Faith. I don't remember Faith's last name, but yeah,
Okay.
those two are running it, and then Connie is overseeing a lot of what's going on, but those two are in charge of it, and
Okay.
they're great. They've had 3, I think, and this was the most helpful for me, just because I was really trying to lock down how to do this hands-on teaching through a virtual platform.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
weird.
Look up the link for that, because I'm teaching a theater tech class for next year for the first time. And I'm so excited because if we get into this situation, like one of you mentioned, like you have built in people who want to do video editing. So I'm stoked about like having that in the back. But yeah the thought of potentially starting online, how do I make sure I'm ready to teach? So yeah, I love the design.
Right. Yeah.
I would say too, I feel like a lot of you are also using this as an opportunity to have your students be writers and be creative. And I think that's definitely where, as also a playwright, I've been using those skills in my classes to be like, okay, well, we can't perform this, but we can dive deep into character development. We can create our own works, like playing off of this material and this play. But yeah, I think there are resources out there and people are pivoting, but it's that like whole holding on to hope that we can still do online or do in person. I'm slated to direct Newsies next spring, and I'm like hoping that that's like far enough out that that can actually happen. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that resource, Harrison. I will I can reach out to them over there too, and make sure it's open to Washington, not just Washington teachers, because I could share that out mean, shamelessly, I used to work for the Fifth, so I think all their programming is brilliant. But also it is. So I would be happy to share that with anybody. Fifth Avenue Theater is one of the largest regional theaters in the country, and I think they produce more work that goes to Broadway than any other new original work, than any other theater in the country as well, which is pretty cool. So they have some really innovative folks over there. Yeah. Oh, maybe I heard myself back. Sorry, I was like, I think I heard someone. No, my internet's all wonky. Okay, cool. So we still have some more time, and I just want to make sure, just because it is the end of a month and we're moving into a new space. I just want to open it up. If anybody has anything besides just necessarily like taking performance in class online, I just would love to provide some space for people to ask, and we can brainstorm because we're all here together. If there's anything that you're looking at towards for the summer, anything that you're wrapping up with school right now, looking towards the future, does anybody have anything that they want to chat about or are thinking about right now?
I just wanted to thank you all for those resources. I know I was a few minutes late, so I'll be watching the first part of the video when I do get it. But I think just kind of hearing about how other people are doing it was helpful to me, because I know that it's very tricky, and sometimes I'm like, is it lame that we're just all doing monologues because we can't be in the same room? But I think it's working out well, and I'm just hoping to find new ways to do that.
Yeah, and we'll keep on making sure that we have these kinds of conversations semi-regularly, even throughout the summer, because more and more stuff is being developed. And there's no way for one person to possibly know everything. And so just having everybody have a space that they can come and share that stuff out is, I love. So I'm glad that that's been helpful, Laura.
And I wanted to just share on that, like, there's some things you can do on the back end to make, I like to like honor the monologue work. And so one example was for our Radium Girls showcase, we put all of the monologues in black and white, and then put a filter over top that made it look like an oldie timey film movie. And so I think there's some things that we can do on the back end to like honor their work and make it look more professional. But I do think that these kids are brilliant, right? And so often we are squeezing them into canned productions and things like that. So if this is an opportunity for them to adapt and to shine, I've loved it too, because I had kids who were in rather small roles who then got to like create these monologues that they would have, had 5 or 7 lines and done physical acting, but now suddenly I got to hear from them more. And it does level the playing field and give all of them a more equitable chance to really dig into something meaningful. So there are lots of positives, for sure, even though it wasn't our first choice.
Yeah. Well, Laura even calls out how amazing that students have been at adapting to everything, which I will also say as a shout out to all the teachers out there that you guys have also been. It's been really inspiring to see how everybody is really coming together. Not every part of the world right now is coming together, but it's been really great to see how the education community has and how quickly everyone's adapting. And hopefully this summer will give you guys a break from having to have the constant barrage of new information being thrown at you and having to constantly troubleshoot. And I really hope that it gives you some time to just remember why you enjoy this craft, even if it's not exactly how we would love to enjoy it right now. Does anybody else have anything that they want to brainstorm about, or anything that they want to chat about with the group?
I just want to shout out how awesome these things have been. I'm really glad that I discovered this month, because like the only theater educator like in my circle here. And so it was getting really frustrating trying to come up with new ideas and brainstorm, and getting to talk to other educators has been really helpful. And like logging on to this one, I knew I didn't have any performances coming up, but I've enjoyed all the others. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to sign on. And the Thursday classes have been really helpful in helping me create content for our future. So thank you for having these.
Oh, for sure. I'm so glad that they've been helpful, Shannon. That's so good to hear. Awesome. Okay, so bye Laura, have fun with your family. If nobody has any other questions or things they want to troubleshoot, the last question that I have for the group is, we are looking at our summer programming. And so since y'all are here, and some of you guys have been here quite a few times, I would love to hear feedback from you all on what things would it be helpful to have both like brainstorming sessions around, or would you like to see masterclass series focus on? So if you haven't been, so we have two things. We offer brainstorms, which is this, obviously, because you're here. And then we also offer master classes, which we offer 4-part masterclass series. So this last month was all about how to create content online, or generate work online, and how to perform it online. And then in April it was musical theater history. So I would love to hear from you guys, like, what are you guys wanting more support on or to learn more about? Or even just opportunities for you to like be an artist and remember that kind of stuff. Does anybody have anything?
I know this is very specific to me and my work, but I'm interested in accessibility. My theater program works mainly with individuals, youth and adults with intellectual disabilities. And so it's been a very interesting time to revamp things to work for them, and just like you, everybody has been saying, really some people thrive in this type of environment, and this really meets their access needs, and this is disability or not, and others don't. And I'm just interested in being able to cater and create access, because I feel so far away from everybody, and I feel like disjointed from access. So that may be too specific, but that's something that I'm just always looking for.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Sarah, let me know if you want to connect. We have had an incredible response. We were providing a evening drama class for 19 young adults with differing disabilities, and we took that online, and our education associate, who's an expert in this field, has been knocking it out of the park. And actually she's been saying this has been more fruitful than in class, because the students in person are often triggered by each other, but because of the ability to like mute and unmute, they're all able to participate at a higher level and mirroring what's happening, and not being as distracted or as nervous because of the social just intensity of all being in the same room. And so Lindsay, I would definitely think, did you end up ever doing anything with Maddie Napel? Did you guys do a podcast? Yeah. I think it would be brilliant to come on and speak to that. But Sarah, if you wanted to be a fly on the wall in one of those, what we've been doing is a Disney film club. And so they watch a film on their own, which most of them are very familiar with. And then she has these great like design and creative challenges that they do. But they've been meeting twice a week for an hour. And what's awesome is we were able to fight for DDA approval of funds so that it could still be counted as respite for families. And all we had to do, we had to fight a little bit for it, but we had such great feedback from parents saying like, my kid is safe and like I'm able to like be in the room but have respite. And we've just included like safety cues that we do as check-ins to meet some of those like requirements so that families can use DDA funds for it. But it's been wildly successful, so it would be awesome.
That's really incredible. I would really love to connect, and I would love to sit in if possible and like just observe, and that would be incredible.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable sharing your email or with Lindsay or with me, then I could definitely.
Sure, I can just write it in the chat. It's my organization email anyway, so I'm not. Anyone's welcome to email me if they want. You can send me all your spam. I get all of it anyway. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. I really, really want to connect with you on that. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, and we can definitely look at seeing if we can arrange something with Maddie, because that would be awesome.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Sorry, what is her name again?
Her name
Maddie?
is Maddie Napel. And so, yeah, so I'm trying to remember what university she came out of, but do you know Oily Cart and what are some other, basically she came out of I can't remember what, it's like Northwestern, or
it's in Chicago, right? Area?
Anyway, the same theater company has launched a bunch of kind of small interactive multisensory theater productions for the very young or those with disabilities. And she's just fantastic. And so we launched Parachute Players about 18 months ago. And so we've kind of created a sister organization and been partnering with Seattle Children's Theater, but just, yeah. And she's just amazing. And I honestly feel like she could even just speak to like classroom, like Zoom theater management, because she just has great skills on like posting the timeline and posting, I don't know, just reminders and like when to mute and when to unmute. And she's awesome. But yeah.
Wow, I'm really excited. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Does anybody else have anything, anybody else like to see anything specific, like around either brainstorms or like master classes, anything like that?
This is Rachel /
Hi.
Grace. Hi. Could I throw out, if you haven't done one already and maybe I missed it, a tech theater element? I agree with what Harrison said. I teach, I'm sort of, and Shannon, I think many theater teachers are probably like the one-man band at their school.
Mm-hmm.
And so this sort of forum of just idea sharing is really helpful. And I teach, kind of like all things theater. So a tech theater class, Brainstorm would be really cool. And the other piece that maybe some other theater teachers are into is this sort of like unspoken part of the job, which is that you are in charge of the theater building and space, right? So I feel overwhelmed and daunted by the prospect of my administration coming to me and saying like, so how many people can we put in your theater right now to see this show, and what are the spatial requirements? Like, I feel like I have too much and not enough information at the same time about that. So I'm expecting that to be like some email in late August to me. No one is talking about it or thinking about it, but I feel like I'm overthinking it and really don't know what to do.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so on both of those things, Rachel, I will send you. We've had 3 tech theater brainstorms so far, but we're going to continue to do those. And I will, if you reach out to me via, just like respond to whatever email and just say, hey, send me it. I'll get those to you. It might take a few days, but I will get them to you. And then as far as your other question about like, or want or request as far as like understanding like a reopening thing, that's something that we're going to do next month. Is start that conversation, because I mean, I think administrators are probably just going to throw it at us and be like, oh, hey, so like what can we do starting next week to like reopen the theater?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I think they're probably also the same amount of overwhelmed of how to open their school, right, and the classroom elements. But yeah, and I feel like just since the theater teachers are often by default also involved in anything that happens in the theater, so dance and chorus and all of that is just, it's just because you're in that space. I think people, at least at my school, people look to me like, hey, you must have the answer to this, right?
Yes, exactly.
And I'm wondering if there's ways on how we can advocate, because I know I've heard some theater teachers who are really afraid that their theater space is going to be taken from them as a place to be a social distance classroom. And so might be interesting to talk to some arts advocates, like how do we reach out to our local arts organizations now to be advocating in our school district and advocating with our like superintendents and stuff like that, that like you can't like that the arts, it's the same work that we're always doing all the heck time of
Right.
advocating that the arts is essential. And so it might be interesting to just have a brainstorm or hear from an arts advocate of like, what can we do now to make sure our, parents are speaking up and saying like, hey, please don't forget the arts in the plan for reopening schools. Because it sounds like some of you guys are going into different phases, but we're hearing from our school districts like a lot of like, half of the class, half of students are coming on ABA, like staggered schedules and things like that. And just thinking about how do we do after school productions and things like that when only half of the people are available on certain days, and that's an accessibility thing, right? Like knowing that most students can't just come back to school if they haven't been at school. And so I would love to be able to advocate now.
Even before all this, the first to get cut is arts, and so it's really important. And I will just say I feel extremely lucky because my theater is actually being renovated starting on the 1st of June, and they're not doing any. So all year next year, the theater is shut down. No one can be in there anyway.
All right.
Perfect. Because I am also, the PAC manager, and people come to me when they're signing up to use the, that kind of, so I'm just like, oh, don't have to worry about that. I did want to bring something up for maybe a brainstorm. The world that we live in, and the kids, they know it best, but social media, TikTok, Instagram, all of those things, I thought it'd be really interesting to see, since we have this time to focus on it, how can we really bring performing arts into those social media platforms? TikTok is already it's asking for more performing arts to be, because, I don't know if you guys watch any TikToks, but people are trying.
Well, I do, Harrison. Just sit here and scroll through my TikTok an embarrassing amount.
Was on my list, and then all these other things ended up pushing it to the back burner.
Yeah.
Great. I love it.
Yeah.
But that's a really good point. Yeah, for sure. I think that's something. It's really funny. I was talking to a friend right before this started, and he was like, "How can I bring my art onto Instagram and like actually use it to affect change? I don't want to sit here and just post pictures of my dog anymore." And I'm like, "That's a really great question. Let's talk about it." Anybody else have anything as far as
talking a lot, but I also love like marketing and how to like cut through like all the free online content. I know, I'm sure, Lindsay, you're trying to figure that out too. So
with varying success. That's always fun. But yeah, anybody else have anything as far as like, and thinking towards next school year, I would even love to hear like, what are some things, even if COVID wasn't a thing in our world, like what are some things that would be helpful, like, that do you want to learn more about, or do you want support in learning, or what would be helpful, like even if it's like fun activity or fun outlets, anything like that?
Do you guys ever do like a script reading group or anything like that?
It's a very good question. The answer is no. It's always something I wanted to do.
Okay.
Like, what kind of scripts would you like to see?
It does. Anything really. Things that are suitable for education in the high school or the K through 12 education program. But it'd be fun to have something where us as the professionals could get together, and then we could take what we learn and then transfer it to our students after that.
Yeah. Do you mean like, so tell me more about like, what do you like learning as far as, so when you say education,
just like close read, things that, I don't know, the reason I brought it up is for more exposure to new shows, like everyone can bring stuff to the table and read it. But like there's already play reading groups out there, and it'd be fun to, for a month choose like writers of color or something of that, like have a theme so that we can broaden our horizons in our school districts around the country. I'm just spitballing here.
No, I think that's a really great idea. I think I can put something together with that pretty quickly. So let me not just put it together tonight, because I have a tendency to sometimes do that. I will think about it more and get that put together. That's a really good suggestion.
Would any of you guys be interested in like just playing drama games online? Because I feel like the webinars that I've gone to where we've actually gotten to play has like kind of lifted my heart a little bit. So
Yes, 100%. I'm in.
Awesome. We can find out ways to do that. I will find someone to do that for me, because let me tell you, drama games stress me out to no end, which is highly embarrassing since I'm a theater teacher. But, fun random fact. But yeah, I think that we can definitely do that. And finding ways, to do that both like digitally and then also in person, and how those translate in both those ways. Anything else? Cool. Okay. Well, with so sometimes playing the games are more stressful for me than facilitating. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel. For sure. Well, I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming in. I'm really just glad. It's been so cool to meet some of you guys and see you guys pretty consistently for the last 2 months. And we're definitely going to continue to do these brainstorms and the master classes throughout the summer. So I will talk about what it's going to look like, because we're going to change formats up a little tiny bit. So rather than doing brainstorms every week, we're going to offer brainstorms every other week, just because it's starting to be the summer and people want to be outside. We're going to offer the public brainstorms twice a month. We also are going to, over in our Spotlight group, which is totally free, and y'all should come join us over there. We will have brainstorms on the opposite weeks over there, just within the closed community over there. So our brainstorms for the month of June are all going to focus around the idea of building a program for the future. That's what all of our programming across the board is going to look like. So our brainstorms are going to focus in on a couple of things. So next week, we're going to be having a brainstorm with TRW and BookTix. They're going to be talking about all the legalities around doing online performance, talking about streaming services, all of that stuff. And the folks are going to, I'm so excited that both these organizations agreed to do it, because they are amazing humans. So that will be next week's brainstorm. And then on the 16th, we are going to have a brainstorm around specifically what we can do in our programs to come back smarter, as opposed to thinking about everything from like a negativity, like everything's changing. No, how can we come back smarter, as Governor Cuomo always says every single day in his press conference. And then as far as so that'll be on the 16th, and then the 2 closed topics we're going to do one, which is going to be an online lesson swap, where everybody comes with a lesson, they can be done online or a game, and then we'll swap it out. And then also doing a deep dive into starting to look at how we do reopenings, and how do we come up with that plan. So that is our brainstorming sessions for June. We would absolutely love to have you come join us for those. And like I said, come join us over in Spotlight. It's an online community for educators. We have a private Facebook group, but then we also have a membership site that's full of like well over 50 hours, probably closer to 100 hours of video of previous master classes and brainstorms that we've had, so you can access all of that and get more information. There's lesson plans over there, program development stuff, you get one-on-one mentoring, all the fun things. So come join us there. And throughout the summer, the whole focus of the summer is going to be how to build a better, stronger program on the other side of this. So we'll have all kinds of different stuff. So keep an eye out. July is going to be all focused around creativity, but not like how we do it with our students, just personal creativity. And then August will be a pretty intense month of looking at, okay, so we'll have more information. How do we actually now put that building into practice? As for our master classes next month, it's going to be, again, building a stronger program. And so we're going to be looking at how to build a program for the future by looking at culturally responsive practices of casting ethics with race and ethnicity, gender identity in the rehearsal room classroom, as well as consent forward and conscious rehearsal room. So that some of that intimacy directing stuff. So it'll be, I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about it. But yeah, so that's kind of the rundown from here on out. But as always, please let me know if there's any way that we can specifically support you in anything that you're doing. If you ever have questions and you need to bounce ideas off someone, I'm always here to help you do that. But other than that, if anybody has any questions, I will stick around, but I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you guys during the summer. Thank you so much, Melanie. This has been awesome.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
much.